Okay, so we're going to look at statistics on the graphing calculator today. And in order to do things on the graphing calculator, you need to know what some of the symbols mean. And these are symbols that are used in statistics, not just on the calculator, but in general.
Alphabetic cappuccino.
Mark. I'm not kidding. Okay, X stands for individual data points. So each individual data point is an X. That's going to change. So if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it depends on what we're looking at. This is a sigma symbol, and it means sum. So if you want to put a note out to the side that this is sigma, that's how they usually spell it, just phonetically, so you know what that is. So this is the sum. And next to that, we're going to try to draw a sigma. So to draw a sigma, you make a little mark up,
It's like a backwards.
over, in, back, down. It's kind of hard. Don't be hard on yourself. But they'll put that in an X sometimes, and that means add all the numbers together, like we would do for mean. Okay? So that's what you're usually going to see. It just means you're adding everything up. All right, if you see an X with a line over it, that means mean, which is our average that we've been working on. And then N is the number of data points. So this is just some symbols that you're going to see when we get onto the graphing calculators. And so down here, this is a fancy way of telling you how to get the mean. So this symbol over here means mean. This means you're going to sum all the numbers. And this is telling us that we're going to divide by how many numbers. And you guys all know how to do the mean. This is just an illustration to show you how these symbols can be used. If you look into a lot of high school and even college statistics books, they will use these symbols, and it's actually pretty simple once you know what they are talking about, but it looks super complicated. It looks like something that you'd see on A Beautiful Mind, or that you would see in Hidden Figures. But it's really just telling us how to find the mean. Add up all the numbers, divide by how many numbers. Okay? So I'm going to show you guys how to do a lot of the statistics we've been doing on the graphing calculator. And the first step is the same as it was to make the histogram. So I'll go through that. So down here's our example. It says input the following numbers into your calculator's list L1. Use the calculator statistics capabilities to find the following. So the first button that you are going to push is the stat button. That's how you get to
And
edit. So you're going to push stat and edit. And then do you remember how to clear everything out? So you have to go to the top, use your up arrow to go to L1, and then hit clear. And then if I hit the enter key or the down arrow, it'll clear everything out. So we're going to type all of these numbers in. So I'm going to type 69, 71, 68, 60, 66, 69, 70, 71, 66, 67, 69, 69, 60, 70, 66, 71, 66. And then when you get done, it's going to tell you that this blank is 18, which means that that last number would be 17. So it's good to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, I think I got them all. You can also use your arrow keys to go back through and double check.
Should we be at L1 18?
So 18 is this blank right here. So yes, that's where you should be when you're done. Because that's telling you if we were putting another number in, that would be the 18th number. If you use the up arrow, 66 is the last number we put in, and it will tell you that that was the 17th number. Okay, did everybody get the numbers in? Okay, so this is going to be some new directions. On your papers, you might want to put down what we've done so far. So we hit the stat key. I'm going to put that in a box to show that that's stat. Then we chose number 1, edit, and then we cleared everything out. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to hit the stat key again. Yeah. So we're going to hit the stat key again, but this time we're going to use the right arrow. So I'm going to draw a little right arrow symbol. You're going to hit the right arrow and go into the calc menu. And then we're going to choose number 1 that says 1 var stats. That's 1 variable statistics. 1 var stats. Okay? So that's what you're going to select. Now, it's going to ask us which list we're doing. And mine, for some reason, says list 2. But we put it into list 1. If yours says list 1, you're fine. But if this ever happens to you, I'll show you how you can fix it. While my cursor is on the L2, if I go down and hit second
I'm not getting that.
and L1, just a second, it'll change it to L1.
No, I'm not. I'm getting all of this.
Okay, so your calculators are simpler and they didn't give you this choice. It will automatically do L1, and that means you're actually a step ahead of me. And so this is more what it looks like on your screens, correct?
Mine looks like this.
Okay, something. Okay, then something went wrong.
No, he did this. Hit enter.
Hit enter. So it'll come up on your screen, 1 variable stats, hit enter, and you're going to get all of this. So it's giving us all kinds of information. So it's giving us the X at the bar, that's our mean, and we can just write it down. So 67.529, so let's write down 67.5 is the mean. And this is telling us the sum of all the data points. So that's 1148. And it will tell you down here for N that there were 17 data points. I did skip over a couple of things that we're going to do later. Those are standard deviations, 2 different types. That's a little more advanced. We're going to do those later. Then it says min X is 60. That's your minimum value. So we can write that down.
No, I don't have min
60. Arrow down. I'll bet you do.
Oh.
So keep arrowing down. It's going to tell you the first quartile is 66. It's going to tell you the median is 69. It's going to tell you that the upper quartile, Q3, is 70. And it's going to give you the maximum is 71. So we got all of this information just by typing the numbers in. It's doing all of the work for us. So we can do a lot of cool stuff with this. Now it says the range down here is max minus min. It will not do the range for you, but then all I have to do is tell my values 71 minus 60,
11.
and that's 11. And so that wasn't difficult to do once I put these in. You can make your box and whisker plot now. You can make everything now. Okay, now we have our data in here. Let's go ahead and put down, I guess we did put down, on your list of instructions, after you selected the 1 variable statistics, the only other thing you had to hit was enter, correct? So if you have a fancier calculator, it'll ask you more options like mine did. You're just going to hit enter. And so these give you your directions. So we did stat and edit. We cleared stuff out. Stat, we right arrowed to calc. We chose 1 variable statistics and we hit enter, and then you're going to get all of this over here. Now we can still use the numbers that we typed in to do a histogram just like we were doing last week on the calculator. Okay? So let's go in and do that. So if you go into your y, I'm sorry, not y equals, I'm going to do second and the y equals key for stat plots. Okay. Hopefully you guys just look and see if it still says plot 1 on and it still looks like it has a little bar chart there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It does? Uh-huh. So if it does, we don't need to change anything. That's already set up. So we do need to do window. And that's going to be different from what we were doing last week. So let's look at our numbers. So our minimum number is 60 and our maximum is 70.
So X min is 60.
So we could go 60. We want to go a little past 70. Let's say 75. And then the scale, do we want to go by tens or fives? What do you think?
Five.
I think fives would be better.
Y min negative.
And then we'll see. In the -2, you could leave. That'll just give us a little bit below 0. And the 10 we can leave. Really, the X's are going to be the thing that you're going to have to change every time. Usually the Y's you'll be able to leave. And then we can just hit graph again. Now that's only going to give us 3 bars if we group by fives.
Okay, so we group by 10.
So maybe, well, tens would group them into only 1 or 2 bars.
It would only go 1.5 bar.
Group by
So,
6.3.
so let's try something else. Let's go into window and you want to group by by 4 or
How do you go
3.
back?
So hit the window key. All of these keys take you exactly where you want to go. So the window key, let's group by 2s and see what that does. This is also nice because on the calculator you can change it really quick and check it, and you're not having to erase and redo your graph 5,000 times, right? Okay, so I just changed the X scale to 2. That's all I changed. If I hit graph again, now I've got 4 bars. That seems okay to me. And then if you hit the trace key, it'll actually give us information. So this first bar goes from 60 to 62 is what it's telling us down here. And it's telling us that there are 2 data points in there. So on this little bar graph down here, over here in the corner, we would have 60. And then right here, I'm going to have 62. 64, 66, 68, 70, and then 72. You could go 74 if you want. I don't think we actually will have anything over that far. And we don't really have a label for this because this is just a random set of numbers. And then on the side, we could just number
How far up did you
1,
go to?
2. I went up to 74. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I really don't know that I need to go any higher. I didn't space those very well, so I'm going to move my 6 up just a little bit. And so we can just kind of copy this, since we know how we set up the window, onto here. So the first bar is too high, so that's from 60 to less than 62. And then I have nothing in the 62 to 64, nothing in the 64 to 66. And then when I get to 66 to 68, there's 5. So that'll be between 66 and 68. It's going to go up to 5. And then the next 2 bars are exactly the same height, and we can very quickly put that on our papers. So the beauty of using this, even if you have to draw a graph on your paper, is that you can play with the window a little bit, make sure you have the number of bars that you want, make sure that it's spread out the way you want. With a histogram, you want at least 3 bars, but usually a little bit more. 4 or 5, 6 are kind of ideal. Anything more than 6 gets a little crazy to read. And that's that. Let me show you one other thing before we quit that doesn't ask us for, but I think it would just be cool to show you. Go back into second stat plot and choose number 1. I want you to see that you can do box plots. Now there's a couple that kind of look like box plots. I know your screen looks a little different. You want the second one that actually has a little line down through the middle of the box. So choose that and then hit graph again. And I want you to see that it's keeping the same window that we had set up before. If you hit trace, you can see what all these numbers are, and you could make a dot plot and set it up really quickly and figure out where your whiskers and your points need to be. So it's telling you this whisker's at 60, this box is at 66, 69, 70, 71, and you could quickly just draw a number line and put all of that in. So isn't that slick? Okay, so I just want you guys to realize this is a tool that I'm making available to you. You know how to use it now. That should make doing all of that homework, all those assignments, faster. Okay? Since you know how to do them by hand, I'm trying to give you a tool to make it a little bit faster.